Howdy, folks. I'm Peaceful Pageant, personally playing a pretty pine cone.
I'm Amber.
And here are more pretty pine cones for us to play. They're like the pianos of the natural world. I don't know if that's true. Let's get started.
I just figured since you were a pageant, you were like dressing up as a pine cone, but I guess you could play them as an instrument.
Yeah, oh, I guess so.
Maybe that's your talent in the pageant.
Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Sister That She Can't Get a Discount to Buy Our Parents' House? My sister is a 56-year-old female, and she has been living with our mother for the past 5 years since our dad died and COVID hit. Mom's dementia meant that she shouldn't be alone, and Sis and her son, a 12-year-old, offered to move into Mom's house. Now that Mom needs to move into long-term care, we can sell the house. Sister wants to buy it for herself and her son, and she wants it at a lower price than we would get it from the market. I've refused, and I think that I might be the jerk. Sister has taken care of my mother for the last few years, doing the shopping, the cooking, meds, appointments, etc. But she has been getting free rent, so it seems like she was already benefiting with free housing. I admit that I don't do much for my mom. I live an hour away and I take night school courses. Plus, I'm not as patient and I can't handle some of her habits brought on by the dementia. We don't know what the house is really worth because it's run down and it needs a ton of work, and all of the other houses around it have been renovated. My sister thinks that this house being run down will put it closer to her price range. For some context, the neighborhood houses that have sold recently have sold for around 1.2 to 1.5 million, and she wants to buy this house for 1 million to 1.2 million. A real estate agent said that we could get closer to 1.5 million. I've got another agent coming today, and I told Sis that she would have to pay full price if she wants it. She owns an investment rental, so she could sell that, and I own my own home. My sister called me a jerk for ruining her chances at home ownership and not for stepping up with help. Also, for some context, it's rare to find a house in our city for under $1 million. My mother can afford a nursing home, so she doesn't need any money from the sale of the house to live on. But the less that my mother spends, the more that we inherit when she passes away. And our parents always wanted things divided equally among us. Am I the jerk for insisting that we sell our mother's house for top dollar? All right, folks, what do you think of this statement in particular? The more that we inherit when she passes away.
Yeah, I mean, I think Opie's a major jerk here. You shouldn't be looking at your parents passing with dollar signs in your eyes, like in most cases. I know there are some absolutely abysmal parents,
Yeah.
but like also the sister has put so much energy and labor into caring for the mother, like an around the clock at home
Yeah. Yeah.
caregiver for dementia would be, paid a living wage to do this work. I don't know the exact rates, but over the years, like I'm sure the sister has made up most of that difference just in the labor she's been putting into this.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're looking at $40 an hour at a minimum or something like that for a full-time caregiver, 40 hours a week, which is on the low end. You're looking at least $80,000 a year for the last 5 years.
Yeah. And
That's
that's like $400,000 right there. So
yeah.
if she wants to buy it for 1 million, I mean, it's already practically the 1.5 million right
Yeah,
there.
honestly, I would be not too concerned about it. I mean, it's unfortunate because the mom can't have a say in this
Mm-hmm.
due to her mental state, but I think that, viewing this from the mother's view, of course she would be willing to let their daughter, who cared for her, take the house for a little less money, right?
Right, like, and like even this money aside, like there's also the emotional labor of caring
Yeah,
for someone with dementia.
yeah,
OP herself says that she can't stomach this work.
yeah.
And it's not for, a lot of people. It is very hard, very grueling.
Mm-hmm.
And OP should just be thankful that the sister has been willing to do this. And like I understand not wanting the house to go for free necessarily, but like if one of my siblings, had been a caregiver for my parents, like not that my parents have anything to inherit anyway, but if I was in this situation, where I had a sibling who was a caregiver and like there was a family house, I would be like, have the house, like you did your work, like
Yeah, well, and I do want to point out, I really want to stress that the mother's care is taken care of,
right, yeah,
right?
yeah.
She doesn't need any more money. So any of the remaining money is going to be split between OP and their sister, right?
Yeah, yeah. And like I feel differently too if there was money needed for the
Yeah,
mom's care. Like it would be one of those unfortunate situations where you just need a lot of money because, that care is expensive.
yeah. But since she doesn't need this money,
Hmm.
it's literally at this point in time OP being like, I want to charge my sister more so that I can get more money later.
Right.
And I think that that's a greedy way to be.
Hmm.
I think that that's not a very sibling like way, you know. I just think I just don't like OP very much in this
No,
situation.
I don't. I can't get behind just like looking at all this work that your sibling has done and being like, yeah, but I want an extra $250,000 down the line that I absolutely haven't earned.
She's just not a great sibling right
Hmm.
now. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Just a little jerk.
I I don't think so, Wheel. I think maybe the sister's been bribing the Wheel with the extra money.
Yeah, I think the wheel needs some calibration. I think
Yeah,
the wheel is a little broken
it's
these
having
days.
some trouble. Wheel, she's not giving you a cut of the pie.
And legitimate maybe 4061 says she has done all the work for your mom for the last 5 years. It's not rent free if she's essentially been taking on a second job. Not to mention gas costs for driving around your mom, groceries, and anything else that has come up. Plus the mental toll of being a caretaker, seeing her mother's health decline in real time, and any hobbies or social life that she had to give up to make this work. She's not asking for a 50% discount. Given the repairs that you noted, it's likely that her offer isn't far off from what it would sell for anyways. I could almost see your point if you wanted the extra cash for your mom's care, but it's just so that you can get more inheritance down the road. Do you even care about your mom, or your sister for that matter? I was hoping that this was a troll post, but your post history checks out. You're the jerk. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to let my brother move into my house after he gave away my dog? I'm a 28-year-old female and I bought my first house a year ago. It's small, cozy, and perfect for me and my golden retriever, Luna. Luna has been with me for 6 years and she's my baby. My brother Mike, a 32-year-old male, has had a rough time lately. He lost his job and got evicted, so he asked to crash at my place. I told him yes with one condition. He has to respect my house and Luna. He agreed. Things were fine for the first 2 weeks. Then one day I came home and I couldn't find Luna. I searched everywhere, panicking, until Mike casually said, "Oh, I gave her to a family who needed a dog." Excuse me? Turns out some friends of his mentioned wanting a dog, so Mike decided, without asking me, that Luna would be better off with them. I lost it. I demanded he tell me where she was, and he refused, saying that I was being selfish because dogs aren't property. After hours of screaming and calling everyone that we knew, I finally got the family's contact info and got Luna back. I kicked Mike out that night and now he's staying with friends. But my family is blowing up my phone saying that I overreacted. They're claiming that Mike is trying to get back on his feet and that I'm heartless for choosing a dog over blood. So am I the jerk for not letting my brother move back in after he gave away my dog? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. And all those people who are chastising you can take him in. What he did is inexcusable. He,
Yeah.
I mean, he had one rule and he broke it.
Well, and the thing is, like, he doesn't even have a good excuse or anything like that. I mean, I could understand maybe a little tiny bit more if he was, like, scared of the dog or something like that, and the dog was, like, constantly growling and barking at him. But at that point in time, you need to find, like, a new place to live, right?
Right, like that just means it's an unsuitable environment for him, but he needs to remove himself because this is OP's house.
Yeah.
But you don't get to give away people's pets just because you decide that some other family needs them more. Like, what if your neighbors have a dog? Like, if you were to break into the neighbor's house and take their dog and give it to someone else because nobody can own pets, like pets can't be owned, then like the police would come after you.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this case, OP would be better off calling the police specifically, filing a police report, and making sure that the brother can't do something like this again. I mean, maybe now that the situation is resolved, but if if he were to do something like this again in the future, maybe the police would be the better option. Just immediately jump to, I'm going to call the police if you don't find my dog. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And DJ2 Supreme, Am I the Jerk, says, not the jerk. Not allowing him to move into your house shouldn't be the first thing on your mind. If I was you, I would press charges because what your brother did is theft. The absolute audacity of this man to give away your dog is wild. What is stopping these same family members from taking Mike in my opinion, is that you underreacted, because if someone I let into my house decided just to give away my pet, I would be pressing charges for theft because I see pets as family members. And OP replies, you're 100% right. The audacity is unreal. I was so focused on getting Luna back that I didn't even think about pressing charges at the time. But looking back, I probably should have. I honestly don't think that he even understands how serious what he did was. And you nailed it about my family. They're all talk, but not one of them has offered to take him in. Funny how they expect me to do everything while letting him off the hook. I feel like I let him off easy, but maybe I was just trying to avoid more drama. At this point, I'm definitely not budging on letting him back in. Yeah, I mean, it could just be that they are afraid of having him drop in on their doorsteps, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I sometimes wonder if that's why these people react the way they do, is because they're afraid that a family member is then going to become their responsibility.
Oh, I think in some cases it absolutely is. They want to make sure that they're not going to have to deal with that. So they're like, no, 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 this is you. You need to do this. Which is why it's important to call these people out and be like, well, then it's your turn. You can house them if it's so important.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Letting My Coworker Borrow My Lunch After She Forgot Hers? I'm a 26-year-old female and I work in a small office, and we usually just eat lunch together in the break room. I made an effort to bring homemade lunches to save money, and I even meal prep for the week. Yesterday, my coworker Emily, a 30-year-old female, forgot to bring her lunch. So she asked if she could borrow mine, saying that she would pay me back later or bring me food tomorrow. I told her no, politely but firmly, because one, I was really hungry, and two, I didn't have any extra food, and three, I don't like the idea of giving up my only meal, even if she promises to replace it. I offered her some snacks from my desk. I keep granola bars and nuts in there, but she turned them down, saying that she needed a real meal, not rabbit food. Then she made a passive aggressive comment about how she thought that we were friends and how sharing one meal wouldn't kill me. The vibe in the break room got awkward, and she ended up leaving to buy something from a nearby deli. Later, another coworker mentioned that I could have just shared and that Emily was probably having a rough day. Now I feel bad because I didn't want to seem unkind, but I also feel like it's not fair to expect me to give up my food just because someone forgets theirs. I'm not a lunch vending machine, and I was hungry too. Am I the jerk for not letting her borrow my lunch? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, first of all, it seems like she has the money right there, so she could have offered to buy the lunch off of Opie if she really wanted to. Um, but secondly, like this coworker, why didn't they offer their lunch? Why are they on OP's case? Like, it's OP's lunch, and if OP gives up the lunch, they don't have food. Like, even splitting it, if it's not a lot of food, like that's not going to be satisfying for anyone.
No, I mean, it's an odd situation because I don't know what the coworker was expecting out of this. And the other coworker who's saying that OP should have shared, like, I think that, like, if everyone in all the coworkers got together and shared a small portion of their food or something like that, then she would have plenty of food, right? But it shouldn't have been incumbent upon OP to be the only sole provider for food for her. And I mean, sometimes people have hard times financially, and maybe she, didn't have the money to spend on the deli or something like that. But it's also pretty selfish to expect OP to sacrifice their lunch in order to feed them too, right?
Right. Well, she's having financial troubles. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but there may be avenues she can explore to get food.
Hmm.
But she can't just expect her coworkers to hand over their food in exchange.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for taking my coworker out to dinner after my wife's coworker took her out to lunch? Last week, my wife told me that her coworker had asked her out for lunch. Since there was a reshuffling of teams, her coworker wanted to get to know the whole team better. I asked my wife why it couldn't just be a team lunch and why did it have to be a one-on-one lunch. And my wife said that her coworker would be taking them each out for lunch. I asked my wife if I could see his pic, and while he seemed on the older side, he admittedly was good looking. I told my wife that I was uncomfortable with it. However, I didn't want to seem controlling, so I told my wife sure, she could go. My wife thanked me a lot. For some context, I'm also friends with my coworker Vanessa. We both joined the company on the same date and we were even put in the same team. So we kind of just bonded over that. We also have the same kind of dry humor, and a few days ago, I jokingly asked Vanessa if she wanted to go out Friday for dinner. However, Vanessa took it seriously and said that she would love to. I asked Vanessa if her husband would be okay with it, and Vanessa said that her husband goes out on many coworker lunches/dinners, and he has no leg to stand on. Vanessa then asked me if my wife would be okay with it, and I admitted that I was feeling insecure after she went to lunch with her coworker last week. Vanessa then said that it was a perfect time for us to get dinner just to get our mind off of things and relax. When I told my wife about dinner with Vanessa, she was surprised and asked why Vanessa. I told my wife that it was to get to know her better. My wife knows who Vanessa is, and she even looked her up online. My wife asked me many times if I find Vanessa attractive because she thinks Vanessa looks like a model. I always tell my wife the truth. I don't look at Vanessa like that, and I only consider her a work friend. But my wife admitted to me that she was insecure that I was going to dinner with Vanessa. But since she had gone to lunch with her coworker, she couldn't really stop me from going to dinner. I thanked my wife, and Vanessa and I had dinner at a pretty nice place a couple of nights ago. However, ever since then, my wife has looked somewhat sad. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, you're absolutely the jerk, and maybe go to therapy to work on your jealousy and insecurity issues. What the wife was doing was a normal business practice. Like, it sounds like this wasn't the coworker only picking her. He just wanted to have individual lunches with each teammate to get to know them better. And OP like says one thing and does another. He was like, "Oh yeah, go ahead," but inside he's fuming, and he comes up with this scheme to get back at his wife.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I think that OP is the jerk in this situation is because he did this as a form of reprisal. If this had just been a casual, friendly dinner with him and Vanessa, where they're coworkers and they're both platonic, there isn't anything more to this than them being close coworkers, I don't think that there's a problem with that. And every relationship is going to have different boundaries, and there's certainly going to be people are allowed to have friends outside of their relationship. So I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with going to a dinner as long as there isn't any romantic pretenses, right? So, but where I really think that OP uh, turned this into a situation where he's in the wrong is that he literally did this because he felt jealous, and instead of just owning up and being like, acknowledging his feelings and trying to understand why he's feeling jealous and whatnot, he went ahead and basically was like, well, if you're going to go out, then I'm going to go out type of thing,
Well,
right?
exactly. And that's the thing is like these don't even feel comparable at this point in time because his wife was going as a business obligation, whereas he was doing this specifically to spite her.
Yeah. Well, and she knows that, he knows that she's jealous of Vanessa as
Yeah.
well with the whole looks and everything.
Whereas he just looked up this guy and was like, yeah, he's old, but he's still like kind of got it as if like, the wife has never, it doesn't sound like the wife has been like in a close relationship with this person or anything to give him any concerns.
Yeah, well, and my biggest concern with this situation is this kind of tit for tat type of
Hmm.
thing doesn't work in relationships, right?
No.
All it's going to do is breed more resentment. It's going to essentially cause bigger fractures. So next time, well, the wife is going to be like, well, he goes to these things, so blah, blah, blah. And so it just kind of escalates at that point in time,
It
right?
could, although I don't get the vibe that the wife is that kind of person. I think she's just going to stew in her insecurities, and
Yeah.
that's not good either.
No.
But because he says that she's been quiet and not really herself,
Yeah.
and
Despondent.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's hurtful, and certainly, like, I think that she realizes that she didn't feel like she had a choice, and I think that OP felt like he didn't have a choice as well. And I think, given all of that, marriage counseling is probably like the place for both of them to go at this point in time.
yeah. Well, no, I don't think it would have been reasonable for Opie to say no to that.
No, I
I
mean, I'm not saying that it would have been reasonable.
I feel like even clearing with that him is more than what was needed. Like if I had to have a business dinner, like I might mention it casually, but I'd never or business lunch, but I'd never be like, oh hey Brian, can I go?
Yeah, because I would say no.
No, you wouldn't care. And so it's just, I think that he has a lot to work on. I think she has some insecurity issues, but only because he makes them, like he does things like this as like a kind of tit for tat situation.
Yeah, I think it's a really sad situation. I really hope they both can work on themselves and become a better teammates to each other. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Which bird is in need of a wig?
Big Bird, because Big Bird needs to sneak into Sesame Street after they went rogue.
A bald eagle.
A bald eagle too. A bald eagle too. And I have Mega Mint. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Manic Monday, folks. I hope your Monday is off to a great start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of an invitation to dinner.
You are cordially invited to a dinner as a colleague. And no, I am not doing this to spite my partner because that would be very rude.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.